Hey there, good morning, good evening, good whatever time you're watching this at. Welcome to yet another Pipedream speedrun. This time we're going to be making a special scraper of metadata. Now what is metadata, you might ask? Metadata is what lives in the head section of an HTML page. It usually says things like the title, description, and it has special images that you'll see when you add it to a link to like a Twitter feed or a Facebook page, etc. It's more like the content that Google and other search engines scrape when they look at your web page. We're going to create our own little scraper using an NPM package. And I'm going to show you how to do this in one simple code step, which is really cool. And this is all inspired by an actual help request that came in this week. And we did this together, me and another customer. So I'm just going to, of course, starting off with a brand new workflow. I'm adding a node action, and I'm just going to run custom node code. Now, if you've never imported an NPM package before, well, you're in luck because we're going to do it right now, and we're going to do it very quickly. So the package we're going to import is this one called metadata scraper. Here's the NPM page itself, and it shows you how to install it using the command line, npm I, short for install, and then the name of the library. In this case, you don't have to worry about all that. We can just copy this, and then we can go back to our workflow, paste it, but all we're going to do is just import the actual scraper itself. So the documentation shows us using it this way in the old common.js style. This is 2022 at the time of recording, so I'm going to do it the ESM style, and I'm going to import it metadata scraper from, then the name of the library as a string. So now we have the metadata scraper imported. I'm going to choose their little function name here that now it's one-to-one exactly with the documentation. Now our metadata is imported, the function to retrieve metadata, and I want to pass in a URL into this step. So I'm going to quickly create a props definition here, and it's going to accept one argument, which is the URL. So the URL is a type string, and the label is URL to scrape metadata from. All right, so now we can click the refresh fields button to generate this field at the very top of the page, the component, step, whatever you want to call it. And here we can pass in a URL from a trigger, or we can just pass in a URL statically like this. I'm just going to pull from pipedream.com, and we can now actually just return the result of this get metadata function. And we're passing a URL into the function as an argument, right? We can access the URL by going this URL. And just to recap, this URL maps to our prop named URL. They're connected. And then we can just click test, and this will just take the result of the get metadata function and then return it as the result of our code step. And there we go, just like that. Returns the title, the description, this nice long description, the language that the page is in, etc., etc. So some really handy information here, including the icon in base64 encoding. And now we can move this into a Google Drive. We can store it in an Airtable. We can alert ourselves if there's a change. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. But I wanted to show you a quick, very succinct video on how to, one, import a package from NPM, and then how to pass arguments to it via props, and then how to take that result from that package and return it as an export from the code step. So really short one in comparison to my last two very long videos, but I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a great day.